Welcome to a brand new season of the Read and Discover series. In this season, we're diving into one of the most powerful collections of stories ever told in a book, the Holy Bible. Over the 10 episodes of this season 2, we'll explore how the lives of biblical characters, filled with courage, misery, flaws, faith, spirituality, and wisdom, can inspire and motivate practical lessons for our everyday lives. Each episode will bring one story to life, not just to reflect on what happened then, but to ask, what does this mean for me now? Today's episode kicks off the series with one of the most iconic underdog moments in all history, the story of David and Goliath. Through this story, we will understand how we should never underestimate the power of a small person facing a big challenge, because sometimes the most unexpected people carry the boldest strength and the smallest stones can shake giants. So let's begin. Chapter 1. Giants come in many forms. We all know that for the common Israelite, Goliath was not just tall, he was terrifying. In Samuel 17 verse 4 to 7, we meet the Philistine warrior. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. His armor alone weighed more than some people. His spear was described as a weaver's beam. The Israelites were terrified, and who wouldn't be? Goliath represents the kind of challenge that feels way too big to even approach. We've all met our own versions of Goliath, maybe not a 9-foot soldier, but it could be anxiety, financial strain, imposter syndrome, grief, or rejection. Something that says, you don't stand a chance. And honestly, from the outside, maybe we don't. In comparison, David was young. He wasn't even in the army. He just showed up to deliver lunch to his brothers. But here's where it gets interesting. When everyone else was focused on the size of the problem, David focused on the size of his faith. Chapter 2. Courage doesn't shout. David's response to Goliath wasn't loud, dramatic, or ego-driven. In Samuel 17 verse 32, David says to King Saul, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." He was simple, quiet, and brave. But Saul basically says, "Kid, you can't be serious." David replies with a surprising mix of humility and strength. He recalls fighting off lions and bears while tending sheep, and how God protected him then. This wasn't arrogance, it was a memory. David wasn't trying to be a hero, he was just doing what he believed was right. And maybe that's what real courage looks like. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't wait to feel ready. It just shows up. Before continuing, let's take a short break to like, comment, and subscribe. It'll help grow the channel. Also, tell us in the comments what's your Goliath is right now, and what's one small action you can take toward it this week. Chapter 3. Preparation happens in the quiet. Here's the part we don't talk about enough. David didn't suddenly become brave when Goliath showed up. He had already been practicing. He learned aim and patience, protecting sheep. He learned resilience alone in the fields. He faced small threats that prepared him for a big one. Sometimes, the season you're in feels hidden, unnoticed, unglamorous, and you wonder if any of it matters. Maybe this is your shepherd season, where you build the muscle of consistency, the habit of trust, and the quiet voice that says, "I'm not doing this for the spotlight. I'm doing it for something bigger." David didn't wear Saul's armor because it didn't fit. He didn't need to be someone else. He needed to trust what God had already built in him. Chapter 4. The battle isn't yours alone. In Samuel 17 verse 45, as David stands before the giant, he says, "You come against me with word and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." This wasn't about brute force. This was a shift in perspective. David didn't win because he was clever, or strong, or lucky. He won because he knew he wasn't alone. The sling and the stone were tools, but faith was the force. Whatever your Goliath looks like, it's not just about the giant. It's about the story you tell yourself in front of it. Are you powerless? Or are you prepared? Or are you outmatched? Or are you equipped in ways you don't even realize? Next time you feel too small in your everyday life to make a difference, just make a stop and remember David. Remember that the power to shift a battle doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and the smallest stone can still bring down the loudest fear. By this powerful lesson, we reach the end of our video. If this message stirred something in you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to follow the rest of the journey. I am also interested to hear your thoughts about this topic. For the next episode, we will explore the impactful story of the father of the nation, Abraham, and God, or how loyalty and faithfulness always pay. Until then, stay grounded, stay brave, and likely never underestimate the power of small. Bye.